All right, so now we're live. We're recording and everything else is happening. Before we start, let's go ahead and see, is there one way for us to, we can invite more people. So if you go up to invite more people, you can click on that. It'll give you a link that we can now go out in Facebook, and I'm going to go ahead and just put, we are going live right now. Starting now. Children's Alopecia Project. Oh, well, we'll just do one of those. All right. So push that out. And we're still recording, so everything is happening right now, but I just wanted to just kind of walking through this whole process. So that being pushed out, we can go ahead and, like I said, we're going. Anybody can come on now, step on and view. They can ask questions, and we can see that over to the side. Yes. Okay, don't worry. We're started now, baby. Okay, so you guys can listen downstairs on the computer. All right, you guys can go ahead and tell Mom just to hit the link and get on there. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and start. My name is Pete Asmus. I'm here with Jeff Wojtowicz, the owner, founder, I mean, all around big man on campus when it comes to the Children's Alopecia Project. And really for me, I kind of hold you up as really that voice of children with alopecia. I don't think there's really a level up or down about it. And really, you and I kind of came up with this idea for CAN, which is Children's Alopecia Network, about 5 months ago in September when we met down in what was it? Huntington Beach, right?
Huntington Beach.
Huntington Beach. And so we talked about how awesome it would be, because there's so many children out there that live in remote areas that have alopecia, and they don't have the ability to come to a live meeting. And so as we were talking, it was like, man, I had told you about this event where my daughter had contacted somebody in Australia, and for 4 hours they talked on the phone, on Skype, or on Google Hangout like this. And I saw the potential to really reach out and connect. And so what I asked you to do, and I'm loving the fact that you want to do this, Jeff, is once a month that you and I get on here, we get on Google Hangout, and we reach out to the world and say, hey, this is what's going on in the children's alopecia world, and here's what we're doing to help, right? And so tonight we're going to talk a little bit about some of the different things that you're doing, that you've got coming up in this month, next month. I mean, just you've got a lot of things, from a 5K to I mean, Adventureland, it seems like. I mean, there's everything in between that you have really designed for these kids, right?
Yeah, you know, it's well, first of all, kudos to you too, because you had good taste in naming something, because initially I wanted it to be called the Children's Alopecia Network, and my wife said, hey, I think Project sounds better. I'm like, all right, Project, CAP, I get it. But when you brought that up to me about the Children's Alopecia Network, to actually get the kids together, get the parents to help them come along, get in front of the screen here and talk to other kids, talk to other grown-ups. I think it's brilliant, because there are too many opportunities that people can't take because of us doing something far away. So this pretty much puts everybody in our backyard, no matter what we're doing and no matter where we're at. So it works out perfect. And I think this first episode, until people see it, it's really a good opportunity to get the word out there as to what we're doing. And you're right, we are busy. We are trying to do things that have never been done before, because the reality is just getting these kids together sometimes into a room is enough. So when you go ahead and you start doing things where when you're doing confidence building and self-esteem building, and you're getting parents together to talk about the things that may be silly and may not be silly, it just changes everybody's focus. And my favorite saying is, we just want to change the focus from growing hair to growing self-esteem. Not that we don't want to grow hair, not that we don't want there to be a cure, but you know what? Today is the day. This is the time that is the most important. I'm not worried about tomorrow, and yesterday is too far away. So let's worry about today. We'll let the smart people that are trying to find a cure, let them continue doing it. We will go ahead and help build these kids up and their parents.
Well, I think one of the things that a lot of people may not understand, and after this, I'd love for you to explain really what Children's Alopecia is, or the Children's Alopecia Project is. But my wife found your organization, and I mean, I'm getting goosebumps again, because the reality is, man, every time I think about that first time getting out of the car and walking up and seeing all those kids that had no hair, and my daughter just, her eyes just blew up, man. It's like all of a sudden in that moment, she realized she wasn't alone. You know, she realized that there were other kids out there just like her, and just as awesome as her, and as incredible as her, and as loving and caring, and they were normal. You know what I mean? And I think that's when you really dig down. I mean, seriously, Jeff, when you dig down to the very base roots, that's what you gave these children. You gave them their life. You gave them, you showed them that they weren't so different that they weren't acceptable, I guess. And I'm going really extreme here, but it's because prior to that, like my daughter, she had nobody else had this. Like, she was confused at what was going on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and the direction has morphed. I mean, I'm not a proud parent. I mean, when this happened to Maddie, 11 years ago, all I could see was a 5-year-old little girl that wasn't going to have any friends, that wasn't going to have a boyfriend, that people are going to make fun of. I mean, all the worst case scenarios. So I saw nothing but negative, and it took a little bit of time for me to get going and be on the positive. But the thing is, it's morphed into so much more than just me and Maddie. It's morphed into all these different kids, and the reality is, recently when I speak to schools, it's really more about being different. It's a little bit about alopecia, because I like telling the kids what alopecia is, what it's not, so that way they have an understanding, because I'm usually talking at a school where there's a child with alopecia. So that's what I really want to do, make sure that they understand. But it's really about being, and what being normal is. And the thing is, there is no such thing as normal. There's no normal people out there, because everyone is different. Everyone's different. So, you could have a girl with long blonde hair and a girl with long brown hair, and they're just as different from each other as Haley. The difference is Haley has no hair. This girl has long blonde hair. This girl has long brown hair. They're all different. But guess what? It doesn't matter.
Now, tell me, so let's real quick, for everybody that this is going to be the first time that they've had any kind of inkling, because I think that this is going to start going viral with what we're doing here. So for anybody listening for the very first time, going, okay, you guys have been talking for 7 minutes now. What in the world is Children's Alopecia Project, and how did it come to be? So could you give me that background on where did it come from? Why did it come, right? Why did you come up with this? And so let's talk about that. Why and where?
2003, October, my daughter, I have 4 daughters, Madison lost a lot of hair. And in searching for what the causes were, and then of course what every parent will do is looking for that cure or treatment that somehow is going to dodge science, we decided that, you know what, we needed a support group, because there was nothing specifically devoted to kids. So we started a support group, and I realized it's really hard to find kids unless you're trying to do it where you're raising funds so you can put ads in papers and start looking for people in other directions. So I knew right there and then, if I wanted this to get better for me, I'm being selfish. It was for me first, not my daughter. I needed it more than anyone else. Maddie benefited from it, though.
Sure. So, but what do you mean by you needed it more? Because I think there's a lot of parents that might be listening that feel exactly like we did, but think it's unjustified. Think that they're being selfish, but in a negative way. You know what I mean?
No. Hey, listen. It hasn't been until the last year, only because I've been speaking to more schools, and I've been teaching, going to more schools and speaking to the teachers. And this past year at Alopecia Palooza, which is our international camp, when I was speaking, it slipped out for the first time. It's something that I tried to keep locked away because I was really embarrassed and ashamed. That I actually thought that Maddie wasn't as pretty as my other daughters. That's what I could think of. So when I'm thinking that she's not going to find any friends, where she's not going to fall in love, where she's going to be teased, it's because I remember being a kid, and I probably would have been one of those kids teasing her. And the thing is, I was ashamed at that. I was ashamed thinking that maybe my daughter with no hair might not be as good as my 3 other daughters. And once I started moving on this, I obviously saw that I was wrong, but more importantly, when I started thinking that way, I needed to keep it away because I was ashamed. And then it slipped out. And I'll tell you what, it slipped out on accident, but it was empowering because now I have to change up the presentation, and I have to now tell people what being different's all about. And then that's been the theme this year. It's about being different. There is no difference between a child with alopecia than a redhead, a blonde, a brunette, curly hair, black, white, tall, short, skinny, big. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Thank goodness everyone is different because it would be just so boring. And I think
we're all the same, right?
Oh my gosh, by doing CAP, it made me realize this, and it actually, I became a better person. Not because of me starting something, I became a better person because of meeting other kids and other parents and other people out there that have lived with this or around it. So really, when I come up with that little quote about it's not my cap, it's our cap, and we all wear it, I truthfully mean that because there's nobody that benefits more from this organization than me.
I love that, man. And the reality is, for anybody that's listening and wondering, I wonder, I want to get involved. One, you can get involved if you live out of the country, if you live out of the state, or well, if you live out of the country or whatever. How can people go and get connected to CAP? Where can they go to sign up to find out? Do you do a newsletter? Like, is there a way to engage more?
Obviously, I think if people go to Facebook, that's a great way of connecting because we have our main site, but we also have a facilitator group where we have leaders of our support groups in the United States and other countries that are all located there. Plus, they all have some kind of footprint on social media. But the best way is to go to our website, which is www.childrensalopeciaproject.org. And if you go to the contact information, once you click on that tab, you're going to see there's items on the left-hand side where you can communicate with us, and then on the right-hand side, you can get on our mailing list. So we will email you things like newsletters of happenings. Also, if you look on that tab, it will say CAP Kid Groups. So when you click on that, you can see all of the other 37 CAP Kid groups around the country and world, so that way you can find the one that's located closest to you.
37? Is that what you just said?
37.
37, 38.
I have to admit,
being this platform now that we've just created, right? The all-encompassing platform of video. But can you tell me where some of these are? Where are these groups that people could go to that are live? I know one's in Southern California because that's the one that I belong to, but where are some of the other ones?
We have, like you said, Southern California, Northern California. We have 3 in Texas. We have 3 in Florida. We have Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Long Island. We have 2 in New York, Massachusetts, Chicago, Cleveland, Iowa,
I've got your
Salt
brain
Lake City.
Spinning right now, trying to think of different cities.
Two in Mexico, South Africa, Hong Kong, and we have more that are in the plans. Our newest ones just started in Las Vegas and Atlanta. So
now let me ask you this:
we have them all over.
So somebody's listening right now, going, "Hey, I live in let's say this. I live in California and San Diego, right? And I hear that they're meeting in LA, but that's just too far for me to drive. Could I create one in San Diego for this area? If somebody wants to create one, how would they do that with you? Is there a process or a vetting thing? I mean, what do you do when when finding a leader or a chapter president or however? I don't.
Yeah, it's simple. When we have somebody that would like to be the CAP Kid group leader, they contact us. We'll get them some information, and all they need to do is fill it out, send it back. I set up a Facebook group page for them. I put their information on the website, so that way their contact information is there, and they, in addition to me, get the word out there. I'll share it with the other facilitators, so that way if they have somebody that might be traveling from, I'll just give you an example. We now have one in northern Jersey, and we have a group in Long Island and in Orange County, New York. Well, some of those people are traveling to Philadelphia, to the local group that we have, that maybe they don't have to come to Philadelphia anymore because now they have 3 to choose from. So a lot of times it helps people get to where they want to be. But depending on what cool activity, like on March 1st, we're doing snow tubing in Pennsylvania. So you don't have to be in southeast Pennsylvania to go snow tubing.
Right.
It's always free for the CAP kids. So if you're from northern Jersey or from Maryland and you want to make a day trip out of it, it's 4 hours of fun, and you're going to be doing it with other kids. So all the groups that meet, no matter where they're at, anyone can go to it.
Now let me ask you this. If I wanted to do this and I wanted to start one, does that mean that I have to have some kind of extravagant hook to get everybody to come to my events, or
No.
like how can I get this started? Share that with me.
It's simple. You just got to care, and you got to want to do it. There are too many people, and listen, I get it. So I'm not judging anybody. I learned a while ago that I only care about the people that are right there. If I cared about the people that didn't come or aren't doing it, then I would just be a lot more bitter and a lot more cranky than I already am sometimes. So I worry about the people that are there. So if you, no matter who you are, if you think it's important enough for you to do because of your child, or maybe because you have alopecia and you want to help other kids not experience the things that you went through, if it's important,
that's awesome.
It shouldn't matter if there's 1 kid or 2 kids. You should be doing it because that's what you want to do. It's part of your purpose here on Earth. That's how I did it. I could have quit at any time when we only had 4 kids over a year period, but it had nothing to do with anything other than the kids that we were helping. Whether that be 1 kid, 2 kids, didn't matter. I was in for the long haul.
I got to tell you, we went to an ice skating party that Paul did. And Haley was the only person that showed up, right? And she's sitting here with me. I started feeling bad. I was like, man, she's going to be bummed. She's going to be bitter. She literally, like, her and Paul took off and they were ice skating the entire time. They had such a blast. It was really kind of awesome because it was just them, and she got to really bond. And so I think that sometimes those smaller groups are actually better than the really large groups, because the really large groups you don't really get to connect as well as you do with those smaller, more intimate ones.
Well, I think ego gets in the way of it too, because you want to have the most people. Yeah. You want to do the most things, but that's because you're looking at the number of people. You're not actually thinking about the people that are there, because you're right. If you have 30 people show up to an event, you can't put as much special attention on 1 or 2. Right. Because you have 30. So the 30 that you have an event for, like snow tubing, it's going to be a fun day. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely. Those kids are going to be going up and down that hill, but it's not like they're talking about their problems. It's not like they're bonding with each other. Now they'll do that when they get back into the the lodge and everything. But that's why we like alternating. We like to have a fun event. Then we like to have an event where we bring everybody together. So you're kind of forced to sit down and talk it out. Make sure that the kids are on the right track. Making sure that parents are on the right track. Because I think us parents, it is definitely probably tougher because we love our children and we want to fix them. And we want them to be as great as they can be. And at different phases of this, we think we can find something to fix them. And then you realize, well, I love them. I don't have to fix them. They're perfect the way they are. Right. I still want a cure or treatment. All right. And then it starts getting better because you get to talk to other people going through the process. I think it's a natural progression, and I don't get upset with anybody because I've been there.
Now, do you well, let me ask you this. What is one of the most common misconceptions that parents have? Right? So that's my first question. And then I'm going to ask you the same one, but for children, right? So a lot of people listening, watching, whatever, right now that are tuning in, all of them that have never seen you or witnessed any of this are all thinking, probably 80% of them are thinking one common thing, right? Is there one common thing that you think they would be thinking? What is that? And then what is the solution to that? Or what is the misconception?
I think every parent automatically thinking they can find something that's going to help their child not feel bad. And the reason why they're saying not feel bad is because
you just stabbed me in the heart, because you just told me there's no way to take that away.
No, you're not taking it away. You want to find something that will grow it, cure it, cover it, because it's the easiest way to deal with it. Sometimes when you cover it up and you don't see it, you're not thinking about it. And you know what? We were there. We gave Maddie hats. She had over 100 hats. Just, here's a hat, wear it. They're letting you do it. You're in kindergarten. Everything's cool. So we all have to go through that due diligence of figuring out what works best. So most of us will get to the point where, the treatments and the medicine, it's worse than the disease, and we end up stopping. Or we empower the child make the decision. Do you want to continue doing this? And the child will say no, usually, because nobody likes putting stuff on their head, and it itches and it burns. A lot of times kids will wear wigs, but they might not want to wear it all the time. But if their self-esteem is strong, they could wear it for 5 hours here, an hour here, no days, and that's perfect. It's the children that are wearing it, and God forbid if anybody would ever see them without their wig. So that's really what we want. We just want to make sure that the children understand that they are perfect the way they are right now. Right now is the way they're supposed to be, no matter what the negatives are. And we just want them to feel comfortable. We want them to do everything that they want to do. Wear a hat, wear a wig, wear a headband, earrings, do what they want to do. Right. Don't feel like you have to do it.
What do you think about that, Haley? Do you think what do you feel about CAP? How do you like the fact that Jeff put something like this together?
Well, I like that like I can see other alopecia kids, and then that I don't feel like as bad.
You don't feel as bad?
Yeah.
What do you mean by feeling bad?
Well, like people like being like kind of like mean
to you.
Yeah.
When has that happened before?
I don't really. Well, only one time that I remember was when I was little, and there was like a little boy that like took off my wig. And
that's right.
Yeah, at the gym, and then everybody started to tease me.
And so, do you think that that's why you don't like wearing wigs that much anymore? Because you've got a new wig now, right?
Yeah, and it's actually like no people tease me anymore.
Nobody teases you, right?
Yeah,
but you know why? It's because you go without your wig because you want to go without your wig. And I've seen you in your new wig, and I think you look beautiful with your wig. I think you look beautiful without it. And kids aren't going to make fun of you, and they're not going to want to try and take your wig off because they already know that you're strong, and they already know who you are. And there's no reason to do that to you because you don't really care if you're wearing a wig or not. You just feel like doing it.
Yeah. And, well,
what do you think? If there was any kids listening right now and they were wondering if they should be involved in CAP and if it was even worth it and if they'd find any friends, what would you say to them?
Well, like, hi, what's your name?
You're doing literal. I love it. I love you so much. You're so okay. Perfect. So somebody's listening right now and they're curious and they're wondering if this is a good idea. What you're gonna say? Hi, what's your name? And then what else are you gonna tell them?
Like, how old are you?
Mm-hmm. Anything else? What is your favorite thing to do? Would you tell them that, or would you ask them what their favorite thing to do is?
Yeah.
Yeah? What is your favorite thing?
Well, my favorite thing is like going to Disneyland and having the CAP events too.
Man. Well, how could you? That right there is a promo for you. You realize that, right? What do you love doing? Going to Disneyland and CAP events.
That's raising the bar.
Man, that is awesome. Is Jeff giving you money right now? What is going on? Did you guys already talk prior to this?
No.
No? Okay. All right. So real quick, Jeff, if people are listening, one way that they can get in contact and they can connect with us is through the Children's Alopecia Network, which is this platform that we're going to be doing every month, the last Monday of every month at 4 p.m. Pacific. But also, you guys can go to childrensalopeciaproject.org, and you can sign up to be on the mailing list or to join the groups. In addition to that, what else do you guys have going on, and how do they get in touch with that, right? Because you have the 5K runs, you have the not Alopecia Palooza already happened, but you have some other events coming up as well, right?
Yeah, coming up, the next thing, there's only one event that we do that is not for kids, and that's our biggest fundraiser of the year, which is happening on March 13th in Reading, Pennsylvania. We're calling it the Cap Blues Spectacular. So we're going to have Jessie Carolina and the Hot Mess, Lillian Nell, who is an accomplished blues and jazz singer who has alopecia, and the King of Beale Street, Memphis, Tennessee, Preston Shannon. He's going to be headlining the show, and we're going to have hundreds of silent auction, live auction items, raffles, open bar, food, which is blues-based food. It's just going to be a great night, and the money that we raise from that, from the sponsorships and donations, that money is pretty much used for Alopecia Palooza. So in May, between May 8th and May 10th, we have our first CAP Kid Camp in California, which is going to be in Cambria at Camp Ocean Pines, and that is a mini version of Alopecia Palooza. The highlight for that camp will be checking out the tidal pools and studying the elephant seals on the coast, because every year they lose their skin and their hair, and it just so happens they're doing that in May. So we can actually watch this happen. We have a marine biologist coming down talking to us about it. And then August 8th to the 16th, that's Alopecia Palooza week, and we're having it in North Topsail Beach.
It has been
North Carolina.
I'm thinking it hasn't. It's been.
I'm not even done.
Just a while ago. It's been a long time since it's been. Oh my gosh.
Not even done, because this time we're teaming up with WB Surf Camp in North Carolina. The owner of the surf camp has alopecia, and he found his confidence through surfing. So basically what we do is we have a vacation time for parents and their families from the 8th until the 12th. Alopecia Palooza starts on the 13th of August, and it goes until the 16th. But on the 15th, we spend the whole day on the beach doing nothing but surfing, boogie boarding, lunch, beach activities, and just listen. There's nothing like having 300 people, and you're basically having your own party on the beach. So it is. Well, not only that,
you're talking about Georgia Van Kylenberg is going to be there, right? Laura Dukesta. I mean, this is all of the big names in alopecia go to this event.
You know, we can't have all of them all the time, but we have a great support group of accomplished alopecians that may have gone through this when they were younger or when they've been older, but they've been able to get through it, and they've been accomplished at whatever they're doing. Like you said with Georgia, through all of her trials and tribulations, ups and downs, guess what? She's still making it happen, and she's still doing things that no one else is. So that's the one thing that we always find. If you're an adult with alopecia, very few adults nothing. They're accomplished. They might be accomplished housewives, they might be accomplished gas station owners or attendants, or they might be actors and actresses. But the bottom line is that they're just not getting by. They're going above and beyond. So we look for those people to come and speak. And we're going to have Laura Dassey, who is on America's Got Talent.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we were in a photo shoot with her.
And Kevin Bull, who was on American Ninja Warrior. He's going to be at Alopecia Palooza. So,
man, that's right. I saw him too.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty awesome this year. Plus, we have our great stable of normal speakers like Lindsay Walter and there's a few others. I don't know exactly who's all coming this year, but
Right.
then after that, then in October we're going to be doing one in Ohio. So we have a Cap Kid Camp in Ohio, and that's going to be all horse based. They have over 50 horses, and they have a little island where it's going to be a survivor event. So the older
that is
kids will
cool.
be able to go over and live off the land for a day.
Man.
So everything that we're trying to do is we're taking the kids outside their comfort zone so that way they feel as different as anybody else in a situation. They're just as nervous. They're just as scared. But here's the cool thing. Once they accomplish it, and every child that puts their mind to it can accomplish anything, you get to go home and say, guess what? I surfed. Guess what? I ate grubs. Guess what? I rode a horse. Guess what? I went snow tubing. Things that they might not have done before. Even something as simple as going in the ocean. I mean, if you're from Nebraska and you've never been to the ocean before,
Right.
just being in the ocean and not getting eaten by a shark or stung by a jellyfish or attacked by a crab, these are the things that they're afraid of. Now we've empowered them, and guess what? We really didn't do anything. They did it.
Yeah. No,
So,
that's
why
awesome,
it's important
man.
to do these type of events.
I've had fun. Did you have fun today?
I can't wait to get everybody else on board.
This is a good time, right? Was this that difficult? This wasn't difficult at all, was it? Super easy, right? And it's
Absolutely
fun.
not. I think once people start seeing it,
Yeah.
the conversation then goes in a direction where we can answer a question, where we can pose a question and get answers, and everybody's contributing, and that's what it's really all about.
Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask Jeff? You can ask him one question real quick, and then we'll end for the day. You want to ask a question?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
My question is, you know what? It's not even a question. It's a statement. I thought you were adorable when I met you in California 5 months ago, but I've been watching your videos, and now I'm seeing you live right now on the other side of this computer. That's where you are. And I think you're still one of the coolest kids that I've ever seen. So just keep being cool. Keep doing all those little commercials. I love it. Because every time you do it, you don't know what you're doing to yourself. You're making yourself, and even your sister, and even your other little baby sister, when she starts talking, forget it. You guys are going to be like the three amigos, just doing nothing but great stuff.
Well, she already started to talk.
Oh no, it started.
She's starting to talk and repeat and everything else, and we're all about, that's a great point. One of the things that I've started doing recently, because sometimes, and I think this could help everybody really, right? Sometimes as entrepreneurs, sometimes as human beings, as fathers, as mothers, as children, as anything, right? We get scared and we start to let bad feelings, bad thoughts creep into our mind, and they start to overtake us, right? It starts to become, oh my gosh, I have no hair, and if I have no hair, nobody's going to like me, and if nobody likes me, I'm never going to get what I want, and all of a sudden the entire world is crashing down because of one tiny simple thought. And a few weeks ago, something like that similar happened to me, and I started kind of unwinding, and it's like 2 a.m. in the morning, and all of a sudden I started just saying, tomorrow something amazing is going to happen. 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 Now, you may not repeat that. You guys may say, I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am confident. Whatever it is, what I'm saying is when those negative things start to creep in, start blocking them with positive affirmations and just repeat them over and over and over and over and over again. You do that for 20 minutes. You're going to stop thinking of that negative thing, and you're going to start to be able to focus on what you really need to. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. It's something that I practice all the time because I get just as negative as everyone else.
Yeah.
The difference is that, no, based on what I'm doing today, I know tomorrow is going to be better. And it might not be tomorrow morning, might be tomorrow afternoon. But tomorrow, it will get better, and I always know that.
And if I focus on the good thing, right, then that's what I'm going to see. If I focus on the bad, that's what I'm going to see. So for all of you guys out there from Can and Cap, what we want you to do is focus for this next 30 days until we see you again. Focus on the good. Focus on the positive. Focus on what you have. Focus on what you're building. Focus on where you're going. All right? One thing that I talked about the other day was, look, you can't drive a car staring at the ground or looking in the rearview mirror. Impossible to do. But yet in our life sometimes we will consistently look at where we are and judge that as where we can go. And that's not the truth. Look forward, look into the future, look where you're going, and point yourself in that direction and take off. Guys, thank you for Pete. That's what I'd love to say. What would you like to end with, Jeff?
Yeah, what you said is perfect, because that's exactly what we talk about when it comes to people that are really hell-bent on getting a cure or a treatment. And I want that, you want that, we all want that. But what you have to concentrate is right now, today, not yesterday, not tomorrow. Let the researchers worry about tomorrow. You have to worry about today, and right now your child is the most important thing today. Not what they put on their head, not what they take off their head. It's who they are. That's the most important.
I love it. Guys, thank you so much with that. Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to say what I was going to answer you. When did you start CAP?
Oh, that was your question. That's what you wanted to ask? When did you start CAP?
Well, we started it as a support group in 2003, and then as a nonprofit in 2004.
Did that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. Next week or next month, can you bring another question? Can you bring us a question every time for Jeff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay, perfect. Jeff,
and
thank you so much.
I'll bring Maddie.
There you go. That's right. So next month we'll have Maddie on and Matt and Haley, and maybe they could do a short 5-minute interview, and Maddie could interview Haley.
Hey, you know what? If they're doing good, we'll just hand it over to them.
Let them do it. We'll just have them do it once a month. I love it. We've got to be replaceable. That's all I'm saying. Cool, Jeff. Thank you so much. Hey, by the way, the other reason we were doing this before we go, the other reason we were doing this at this time was because you have your board meeting earlier in the day, right? How did that meeting go? How did the board meeting go for CAP?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't today, but this is the perfect reason why we're doing it, because it used to be every month, and we changed it to every other month, but now we're doing it quarterly, but we do it quarterly on the last Monday of the month that it hits. So it's going to work out perfect this time, and hopefully it works out for everyone else. So 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, I think it works.
There you go. Jeff, we'll see you next month. Have a great month. Have a great week, and go make something happen.
Take care, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys. You say bye?
Bye.
There we go.